Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marty Paginen, and on behalf of Larry and Adam and Loretta and the rest of the family, I want to take this opportunity to welcome everyone here today, and thank you so much for coming. There are people here in the main chapel. There are people in other rooms here in the funeral home as well, and we do want to welcome everyone here. We have come together today to acknowledge the passing, but also certainly to celebrate the life of Gayle Caudle. When someone who is so special to us and so close to us and so full of life passes away, it really changes so many things, doesn't it? It changes our emotions. We mourn and cry together. We express condolence by hugging each other appropriately. We speak words of consolation. Sometimes we just sit or stand in silence because our words seem so inadequate to express the grief that we have in our hearts. We also give ourselves permission to grieve in ways that really mean the most to us. And because we're all different, we do grieve in different ways. I've also noticed that our priorities change at a time like this. Our minds are filled with so many memories and conversations and experiences that were shared with Gayle. Our hearts go out to Larry and the family, as together we grieve the loss of a wonderful wife, a mother, a grandmother, a co-worker, a neighbor, and really a friend to so many people. Also, very practically, our schedules change. This service was not in our calendars, a month or two ago. We had no idea really that we would be here today, but we are here today. We're here to remember and to celebrate a life. We're here to share stories, to speak words of tribute, and to honor and celebrate and commemorate Gayle as we gather together and as we do say goodbye to her. With that, I am reminded of the words that the ancients wrote when they said that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. God is our refuge, our strength, a very present help in trouble. I believe very strongly that everyone's life is a gift, everyone's life is special, and everyone's life tells a story. I think you'd agree, wouldn't you? And it may not be a story for everyone in the world to listen in on and be interested in, but those who are connected by friendship, by love, the story of someone's life is worth appreciating, it's worth retelling. And Gayle's story began back on April the 3rd, 1952. She was born Gayle Edith Lawrence to Marshall and Jean in Fergus, one of 7 children. Gayle grew up on the family farm between Arthur and Fergus, and Gayle's aunt and uncle lived near, a young man, very good-looking young man named Larry Caudle, and it was through that connection that Gayle and Larry first met. On a warm summer day, both Larry and Gayle went to the beach. I'm going to say together, but not together with each other. They were with other friends at that time. But as fate would have it, they left the beach together. You guys know what I mean. You understand what I mean. And the rest of the story really is history. Their friendship blossomed into love, and eventually they were married on April the 18th, 1970. Except for a couple years of living in Arthur, they lived in many, many homes here in Fergus, moving to a different one every few years, it seemed like. Gayle worked at different places, including Pizza Delight, retail stores, Lambda Crystal, and she finally, along with Larry, became managers of D&I Photo. They worked there together for 26 wonderful years. She was still helping out there one day a week because Gayle loved interacting with the customers. Gayle enjoyed reading, completing jigsaw puzzles, playing games and cards with her family members, caring for her many cats throughout her lifetime, traveling to new places, either just road trips by car or by plane down south. She was a member of the Fergus branch of the Women's Institute, and she was also a member of the theater board, always appreciated attending live theater productions, and also a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and she was on the photo selection committee for the Fergus Fall Fair. In addition to her extraordinary passion for her family, she was a genuine people person. I mean, you can all attest to that, can't you? I mean, even before Facebook, long before Facebook, she had a large social network. And it seemed that wherever she went, she would always bump into someone she knew and took the time to have a conversation with that person. Gayle was loving, she was loyal, caring and generous, friendly and outgoing. She was positive and upbeat. a woman with a big smile and an even bigger heart towards other people. Although the family that she enjoyed was really the apple of her eye, and she was married to the love of her life, Larry, she was also a proud mother to Adam and Loretta, and so proud when Loretta won the cutest baby contest photo at the Fergus Fair. Was it contest or was it live? Was it photo where there was no doctoring the photo that was really you? Fantastic. That's good. She absolutely adored her 3 grandchildren as well. Wonderful sister, aunt, cousin, and I'm told, according to her youngest sister, that she always had that look on her face that you knew she was up to something. And maybe some of you can attest to that. You know, I think some people measure success in life by financial gain, by receiving awards or trophies or accolades, by accomplishing some measure of fame or prestige or some other superficial metrics. But I personally believe success can be defined through the appreciation other people have of you as a person based upon your personal character and upon the love you express to others. And with that definition, I can confidently say that Gayle lived a wonderfully successful life. The story of her life ended when she passed away on Tuesday, December the 7th of this year at the Hamilton General Hospital. Gayle was 69 years of age. Helen Keller wrote many years ago, "What we once enjoyed and deeply loved, we can never lose, for all that we love deeply has become a part of us." I'm reminded of that quote often, and it tells me and it reminds me personally that one of the extraordinary things about relationships is once they have started and they continue, even though we're separated by time or by distance or even by death, the person whom we love, the person in our heart, is always there. The love doesn't stop. It might be expressed in different ways, but what we once enjoyed and deeply loved, we can never lose. And Gayle will certainly live on in the hearts of all of those who knew her. We honor those relationships. She is predeceased by her parents, Marshall and Jean, by her brothers, Victor and Glenn, brothers-in-law, Charlie, Brent, and Wayne. Survived by her dear husband and love of her life, Larry. They were married a wonderful 51 years. Also survived by her children, Adam, along with Mandy, and Loretta, along with Peter. Grandchildren, Claire, Tess, and Carly. And by her siblings, Ivan, along with Diane, Roger, Joan, and Carol, along with Ron. Her sisters-in-law, Donna Dice and Donna Hall. And also by Kendra and her mom, Dawn. They called Gayle Grandma and Mom Number 2, and they'll certainly miss her very deeply. Gayle will be fondly remembered by many nieces and nephews and extended family members and friends. And the family would like to take a moment just to express appreciation for all of those who made a memorial donation in Gayle's honor to the Groves Memorial Hospital. What a very simple but very beautiful and meaningful way to commemorate her life. For those that have done so, thank you, and for those that will as well. It's my honor now to invite Wayne Griffin, a friend of the family, to come. He's going to share the eulogy and some words of tribute. Wayne, if you would please, at this time.
What can I say about Gayle? Our friend, our computer helper, our organizer, for all the theater trips and the weekend getaways, but most of all, since the beginning of COVID, the 4 of us played cards every Saturday night. We spent lots of time together over the last 52 years. One of the earlier memories is going to the movie theater in Orangeville. Larry was driving. Police stopped us. And Larry got a warning for Gayle crowding the driver. As soon as the officer left, she moved right back over. Gayle loved the theater, especially plays by Norm Foster. One time we drove to Kingston and stayed at a bed and breakfast to see a Norm Foster play. We celebrate our birthdays once every month with friends we call the Breakfast Club. For Gayle's birthday, I was entertainment. Was risky, really risky, at the very least. But she loved it. Our annual trip to Port Elgin every July to celebrate our friends Wayne and Brenda Locker's anniversary brought much fun and laughter. What fun the four of us had playing cards every Saturday night. Gayle and I loved to teach each other over while playing cards, which usually ended up with her calling me jackass. Gayle had a great sense of humor. She always gave funny birthday cards, loved playing games, loved a good party, always wanted to take the different way home from a road trip, loved playing cards with people. She was always willing to help and believed in supporting everything local. We had so many good times. We are going to miss her so much. God bless you, Gayle.
Thank you so much, Wayne. Crowding the driver, eh? I've never heard of that. I think if you want to get pulled over or have to get pulled over, that's probably the nicest conviction you could ever have levied against you. Thank you again, Wayne. It's absolutely impossible to describe every conversation, every experience, every meeting, every fall fair, every day at work, every experience that Gayle enjoyed throughout her life. There are so many memories that are contained within this room and within this building, and each of you have your own. So instead of looking back over almost seven decades of life and trying to accomplish something like that, I really just wrote down a few words for us. Not only I think are these good words for us to take generally, but I think these words do reflect Gayle and her life and the character that she expressed towards other people. The first word is the word honesty. Now, when I say honesty, we often think about someone telling the truth, like you're asked a question and you answer honestly, you speak the truth. And I'm sure Gayle was that way, but not only did she have the ability to be honest with others, but she had the confidence to be able to speak her mind with those around her and the capability of being honest with herself. She didn't need to pretend that she was someone else. She was who she was. And I think that's a wonderful attribute. It's a wonderful character quality to celebrate today, because I believe we're influenced most by and attracted to those people who are comfortable in their own skin. And they don't have to try to impress us with vain accolades or false impressions. And you know what? I get the sense that's the way Gayle lived her life. What you saw is what you got, right? And she was who she was, and you know what? There are so many people that were drawn to her because of that, just because of who she was and her personality. We celebrate the honesty that she demonstrated in her life. I also wrote down the word enjoyment, because there were a number of things that really brought a sense of enjoyment to Gayle in her life. Obviously watching her kids grow up, welcoming each grandchild into the family, being active in all of the organizations that supported the community that she lived in, socializing with her family around a good game of cards, or just being with friends. Someone told me once that there are people who endure life, and then there are people who enjoy life. And honestly, I want to be in that second category. Don't you? Gayle obviously was responsible for her duty. She was very proficient in her work, and as a wife and mother, she was very, very responsible. But she also found things that brought fun and enjoyment to life. And you know what? Even at a service like this, when our hearts are heavy, we can celebrate those things, because life is too short to miss out on the things that bring joy to our lives, including bringing joy to other people. And so we celebrate laughter, we celebrate humor, We celebrate hobbies and pastimes, rest and relaxation and recreation. We celebrate art and music and drama and dance in times of family gatherings for birthdays and holidays. And I think as I survey the culture and look into the world that I live in, I fear that maybe our lives have gotten so busy that sometimes it's easy for us to miss out on those things. We're so focused on certain things that we miss out on other things that do bring us joy into our lives. I think a service like this is a good time for us to recalibrate, to realign ourselves with those things. It doesn't mean that we live carelessly and recklessly, of course not, but it does mean that we allow ourselves permission to bring joy to other people, knowing that that will come back and grant us joy as well. And so enjoyment was something that Gayle enjoyed and appreciated in her life. I also wrote down the word attitude, and I've heard this several times when people speak about Gayle. It was obvious that she had an optimistic outlook and a positive attitude towards life. She lived her life fully. It doesn't mean she was full in being busy and overwhelmed every day, but she just enjoyed the things that came into her life. She enjoyed the success and accepted the challenge that faced her. She laughed. She made other people laugh as well, and that is so encouraging. There was a poem I heard a number of years ago that speaks to this. There are two kinds of people in the world today. Just two kinds of people in the world, I say. Not the good and the bad, for it's well understood that the good are half bad and the bad are half good. No, the people in the world that I mean are the two kinds of people in the world that I mean are the people who lift and the people who lean. And I think I can be confident today in saying that Gayle was somebody who lifted people's spirits, wasn't she? When you were around her, you felt a sense of positivity and optimism with not only her attitude, but the words that she spoke. Someone once reminded me that the words that we speak to each other are like bricks in a sense, because with bricks you can use them, take them, put them together and build something beautiful like a home. But bricks can also be used in a damaging way, in a hurtful way. You can take a brick and throw it through a window and break it, and it can be used to break down. And I believe that Gayle was someone who used her words to build people up. And what a wonderful legacy we are reminded of. Her attitude was extraordinary. I wrote down the word relationships as well, because humans are hardwired for relationships, and at the end of the day, it's not our possessions or position in life that makes us who we are. It certainly is our relationships with those who have been left behind. And Gayle had many friends and connections with other people, and those connections are tied to memories, conversations, and work interactions, community organization contacts, and many memories just with family members and friends. And my encouragement to all of us is to hold on to those memories. Hold on to them. Whether you share them with other people or you hold on to them by literally holding them close to your heart and valuing them and guarding them because they're so precious to you. Again, we all choose different ways to grieve, but I want to encourage you to hold on to the memories. We're also unapologetic and unashamed of tears as we remember Gayle. We celebrate the relationships that Gayle experienced in her life, and of course the sadness that accompanies in saying goodbye to her. I wrote down the word thankfulness as well, because I think unfortunately we live in a culture that's not always thankful. Rabbi Harold Kushner once wrote, if you concentrate on finding whatever is good in every situation, you'll discover your life suddenly filled with gratitude, a feeling that nurtures your soul. And Leslie Gerber once wrote, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. And that's why it's called the present. I love that quotation because it reminds me that today is the present, obviously, right? It's the now, but it's also at present. It's a gift that's been given to each of us. And with all gifts, of course, we receive them, we welcome them, we enjoy them, we use them and share them. But we also express gratitude. We're thankful for every good gift that's given to us. And I hope that all of us can choose gratitude even on this difficult day of saying goodbye to Gayle. And may we live our lives full of gratitude as a way to honor her life as we move forward. Honesty, enjoyment, attitude, relationships, and thankfulness. There's a long list of words we could use to describe Gayle. I chose just those very simple 5 words, and it's actually interesting because each of those words, the first letter, if you put them together, spells a word. It's the word heart. And we so appreciate the heart that Gayle had to her family, the love in her heart for her family, the love that she had in her heart for her community, the love for other people, her desire to meet the needs of others. And Gayle did have a wonderful heart. And I think of our hearts today as we say goodbye. And our hearts are heavy, aren't they? We're sad. We're full of grief and express that openly today. I have 3 children. My oldest 2 are daughters. They're adult children now. And I can remember when my daughters, especially when they were teenagers, growing up, whenever I would drive them to a place, either their school or a part-time job or something like that, and drop them off, sometimes I would feel a sense of sadness in my heart. Now, I wasn't, crying uncontrollably, but as a father, saying goodbye to my daughters, in those little moments, I felt in my heart. You guys understand what I mean, right? Yeah, I felt a bit of sadness in my heart. My daughters have grown up now. They're beautiful young women. They were beautiful teenage girls, and there were boys in their lives. You know what I mean, right? And these boys came to my house. Do you understand what I mean? My house. They would open my front door and let themselves in without even knocking or ringing the doorbell. Can you imagine? They would sit in my favorite chair. They would take my remote control. They would watch my flat screen TV. And then they would get up and eat my food out of my refrigerator without asking. And then when it was time to say goodbye to these boys, and I would come and meet them at the door, and I said goodbye to them. Please don't misunderstand. But there was no pain at all in my heart when I said goodbye to them. And it's not that I didn't like them. I did like them, right? They were great guys. But it's different, isn't it? And I think we all understand that. Someone once told me, Marty, the difference is this: the depth of the pain that you feel in your heart whenever you say goodbye to someone is always in proportion to the depth of the love and friendship you shared with that person. When I heard that spoken to me, a light sort of clicked on in my mind, because I said, that's brilliant. Because that reminds us why the pain is there. It doesn't take it away, but it reminds us that love and friendship was shared, and love and friendship will continue. I want to encourage you to take that with you today as you go. May we always remember the depth of our grief is always in proportion to the depth of our love. And as our hearts are heavy and saddened today, our hearts go out to all of the family members, to Larry and all of the family members today. We express our deep condolences to you, our sympathies, and we will, as a community, continue to stand by you in the weeks and months to come. I chose a poem to conclude the service this afternoon. It's entitled A Legacy of Love. A wife, a mother, a grandma too, this is the legacy we have from you. You taught us to love and how to fight. You gave us strength. You gave us might. A stronger person would be hard to find, but in your heart, you were always kind. You fought for us in one way or another, not just as a wife and not just as a mother. For all of us, you gave your best. And now the time has come for you to rest. So, go in peace. You've earned your sleep. Your love in our hearts we will eternally keep. Again, ladies and gentlemen, those that are in the chapel here and those throughout the building and those that will be watching this via video at a later time, thank you so much for being here. Your very physical presence at this service this afternoon means so much. And may I just say, it speaks volumes of your love and support of the family. And they appreciate that so very much. We're not going to be going to a cemetery this afternoon for a final committal. And so we're going to conclude our service this afternoon with a very brief prayer of benediction. That'll include some words of committal, and then we'll conclude with the Lord's Prayer. And so let us pray. Our God, may your presence give us comfort today and in the days to come. May your peace rest on us, and may your blessings rest on all of Gayle's family members and friends. We pause this afternoon to say thank you for the life of this woman. In a world that is too often characterized by greed and hatred and violence and selfishness, we thank you for a dear woman who loved her family and loved other people and did what she could to make this world a better place for herself and for others. In faith and hope that you always do what is good, we now release Gayle from our care into yours. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. May she forever rest in peace. And we do pray in the name of the one who taught us to pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Please rise. Oh, thank you.